My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Bam! What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush, where we talk about the Giants losing 52 weeks of the year. Giants lose in Germany to, what I thought was the worst team of football, the Carolina Panthers. They lose in overtime 17-20. Thanks for hanging out with us. Got to bring the guys in. We are basically going to kind of turn the page. It is another year where the season's over by November. Basically, Halloween. Now we're in second week, if you want to consider it, the second week in November, and the season is officially over. So we're going to try to have some fun and move on and see what the future may hold. We're going to look at free agent quarterbacks. We're going to look at a little bit of free agent wide receivers and see what's out there because there is nothing left to hope for this season. It has basically gone over the waterfalls into the swamp. So I'm going to bring in the guys. We are going to chop it up. Thanks for hanging out with us. I see you guys are starting to pile in the room. So what's up? Yes, cold. Another week, another loss. It is very, very disappointing. Again, we're here 52 weeks of the year. It seems like it's all we talk about is another losing season. 2016, we got a blip. Got a little blip in 2022, but can never sustain winning. Constant. The only constant we have is that we have a quarterback that just can't get it done. So let's bring in the guys. Here is Spartan Mike. Spartan Mike.
This is Sparta!
There he is, the one and the only.
Greg, I jumped the gun there. I'm loving this. How are you doing, man? I feel bad. You're a season ticket holder for all these years. The people I feel bad for are you, the fans that go there each and every week. You deserve better.
I appreciate that. I'm at the point, Mike, I've told you guys this before. I've probably missed like 7 games since like 1990 or 1988 or something. I'm not having any fun. Not a lot of whole things to watch. What's up, Chris? I see you popping in here. What's up, Jay? Not only am I not having any fun, but it's a big expense. Takes away from your family and your friends and your whatever you got to do. And I'm again, like, no one can ever say I don't put everything into the team. Make the drive, watch the game, buy the tickets, do all the stuff. So Spartan, it's at the point where I'm just completely freaking sick of watching bad football. Right?
Sure.
Just bad football. Don't want to watch it anymore. And regardless of whose fault it is, we have to start with the quarterback. We're going to talk about that now. We got to turn the page there, and some drastic things have to happen. So let's bring in Sean. Sean,
And here we go.
Bam.
And here we go is right.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I know we're losing. I know it's not fun, but I'm gonna say this real quick, man. I absolutely enjoy being here every single Monday, talking with you guys, doing this. And what I'm going to focus on now is I'm going to look at the guys who's playing football, the young guys, focus on the future, and just know that better days are ahead and hope for that. But that's my outlook here tonight. So here we go.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it comes down to is like, every year we're having this same conversation, right? So the only thing that we really need to do moving forward is have the right change, right? Change is inevitable, but we need the right change. And the consistent issue that we've had, right, isn't coaches, because we've had 3 of those, right? It's not coordinators. We've had 3 or 4 of those. It's not the defensive coordinator, because we've tried a bunch of those. It's the quarterback. And like, again, I get why people like him. I get why people don't like him, but it's the only consistent, it's the constant that we have, right? And we need to try something different. I don't care if he's black, white, yellow, tall, short, green, blue. I don't care if he's ACC, Big Ten. I don't care if he's in Power 5. I don't care where they come from. Just don't care anymore. Now, I'm sure we all have our favorites. We all do, right? We all have things that we like in the quarterback, in the different quarterbacks. That's all fine, right? There's guys that are playing on this team that are, like as you just said, Sean, are playing pretty decent football, and they're coming out and playing every single week. There's a handful of those guys. Then there's guys where you just notice that they're just not getting it done. And while they're nice players, what great teams have are superstars. And that's my biggest rub on how this team is consistently being built, right? Really good teams have 3 offensive stars. They got 3, and I'm talking superstars, right? Like they got 3 superstars. They got 3, defensive stars. Like when you think about the Chiefs, who do you think of? Chris Jones, Pat Mahomes, Kelsey, right? You think of some really good players on these teams, and we basically are at 1 player. I maybe possibly 2 players, if you want to say neighbors. I'm not sure if he's a superstar. He is a star, but the only superstar that we have is Dexter Lawrence, in my opinion. So let's get into just starting off the show with basically Jones, right? Let's talk about Jones. They lose this week. They came out of the pipe, guys, and I don't know what happened for 2 quarters. It was the most bizarre thing because I am a big proponent of when your back's against the wall, you try everything and anything to see what works, right? Like whether it's the tight end game, the screen game, the down the field game, whatever it is, right? So, Barton, Mike, what's up? What's up, Grangier? Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Big Blue Elo is in the house. Ross is in the house. What's up, Ross? Sadly, don't see it's getting out of time soon. Scenario, we hit the grip. Yep. Especially as good as you guys last. Yep. All true stuff. We're gonna get into that on what our options are. Thanks for hanging out, Ross. Bang. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Spartan, what did you see when this game started on Sunday? Were you in the same boat as me? Like, when are they going to start playing? Because it seemed like they just were really, really slow to get something moving.
Yeah, seeing the Giants. I mean, I actually watched the Panthers in person earlier this year. I actually watched them play at the Bears game. And I thought the Bears were probably one of the worst football teams I've ever watched. They went out there just flat-footed. And the Bears are an okay team, but they're not a stellar team. So for the Giants to have to go toe-to-toe with that was severely disappointing. But once again, we're in a situation where, no elevation from the quarterback. And if anything, just a deficit, a couple decent plays here and there, but just overall more garbage plays, more, no touchdown passes, can't find the end zone, can't make plays happen. We have to go out there with this, terrible, this playbook that's probably, we can't figure out what the playbook is because he's going to go with the easiest options anyway. We call play 3rd and 1. We do the the flea flicker. I actually think it's a very good play call. I'm one in the minority. Dable fell on the sword, but here the idea is if you can't get that executed, the quarterback could throw the ball away, and then it's 4th and 1, and you run the ball. Jones didn't get rid of the ball at the very least, and he had 2 guys open. So I'm blaming him for that too. So just again, we have an anemic offense. There's been one constant. Everything's reiterated every single week. But as negative as I'm being on our quarterback, which I have been for, well over a year now, there's actually a lot of positive takeaways with many of the players on the Giants. And when you're not finding the points that you need, a lot of that falls on the quarterback. And so when you're in a position like this, the Giants are actually in a decent position to succeed, but they have to execute the quarterback position. We'll get into that. Craig, I know you set that up. I'll hand it over to Joker.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean. What did you see when the game started? Like I said, a lot of things happened and a lot of things didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see a slow start. I just saw slow execution from one position. Spartan just covered a lot, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, right? But what I did like is guys were getting open. Hyatt, for example, like ran some really crisp routes. It's the best he's looked all season, which I really liked because he could have taken that demotion, not playing much, the criticism, and really just kind of sulked, took his ball and went home. But he came out, he was excited. He dapped up Jones at the beginning of the game. He had that energy and he ran really good routes again. So I don't think the team was flat. Listen, when you sail a ball over Malik's head and he looks and Wandale takes a double take and pauses, like that's going to impact the team. So it's hard. Guys were open, they were running routes. Yes, there's things that are we perfect? Are this, that, and the other thing? But man, if we just had a little bit more from that position, it's a different ball game against the Panthers, right? Like no team is perfect. Again, we're the fourth youngest team in the NFL. The percentage of our rookies playing on offense and defense makes us the youngest team in the NFL. So you're not going to have perfection. You're going to have guys that make mistakes. But listen, grown week after week after week. I mean, he caught a ball that should have been intercepted and made a hell of a catch on that play, right? So there's some positives that are coming there. I like some of the development that's happening. And again, Tyrone Tracy, I mean, what can you say about the guy? Yeah, he had the fumble, but man, he's the reason why we're in that game, So there's some good to take from that. And those are my takes there.
Yeah. And pound it out to you, Chris. Thanks for hanging out. It's a little donation with a little super sticker there. We love that. Thank you very much, my friend. Good to see you 2 weeks ago at MetLife. So that was pretty cool. He was rocking his throwback jersey, which is always awesome to see.
Hey, maybe we get to that question though. He asked that question with that generous donation there. If we can get to that during the show, because I'm happy.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, listen, guys, we are at the same point every week, every Monday. We are at the same point that we can't score enough points. And when the receivers are open, Jones is throwing behind them, in front of them, in the dirt. Some of them, you just can't figure out why he doesn't see it. Sometimes you can't even figure out why he missed them. The one that he sailed off to the sideline with neighbors on the thing, like it made no sense. Like I was befuddled by the fact that a pro quarterback in his sixth year in the NFL can't make that throw. Like, sometimes I'm like, all right, look, I saw Mahomes make some bad throws yesterday. All right, let's be honest, right? Quarterbacks make now. If that was Jones, everybody would have thrown a brick through their TV, right? But everybody makes bad throws, but the consistency that Jones does it's mind blowing, right? So you lose 17-20. You probably should have won 27-20, right? Or at least 23-20, right? Or at least in that ballpark because we missed the field goal, right? There's definitely, as Spartan said, an anemic offense. Jones cannot get it done. We need to turn the page. There is some players here. I mean, I heard Cross going off this week about how bad the talent is, and I just don't feel that way, guys. I don't feel that way. What's up, Mark? Good to see you. I just don't feel that way. Like I feel a guy like Banks is a CB2, not a CB1. I feel Tracy is a super surprise running back, right? For a guy that played wide receiver most of his career. For a guy like, our linebackers are still playing well, but there's not a good enough defensive tackle when Dex is off the field, right? They literally wait for Dex to come off the field and they run it right up the gut, right? Because they know they're going to get to the second level, We got wide receiver 2 issues. We definitely have, cornerback issues. We definitely don't have a ball hawk at the safety position, or at least not yet anyway, right? I mean, Newman led the team in tackles yesterday with 12, right? So, he's a tackling machine. It's just he's not that McKinney type of player, Like I think he's a technician, makes a lot of tackles, but we don't have. I mean, we have one interception all year. Right. So there's definitely a need there. Good to see you, Chris. Glad to see you. You made the show. Let's let's move on from everything we saw yesterday. Like I said, because we need to turn the page, guys. Look, I am turning the page, right? like we've got to literally think about what options the New York Giants have, because what we want to do is going to take something very unique to happen. You have to lose out, right? Or at least, you can't all of a sudden go on a rip and win a bunch of games. And whatever does happen, even if you win a bunch of games, you still got to do what it takes to get the quarterback you want. Right now, there are, depending on who you are and who you like, there are 5 quarterbacks that could go in the first round. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it likely? Probably not. Right? But you're definitely going to have anywhere from 3 to 5 quarterbacks that are going to garner most of the attention in the offseason. Here's the thing, guys. Regardless of who they get, I'm with you. Peace on Ward. Like I said, I'm in the minority. I already said earlier today to these guys that Micah Parsons, best player on the Cowboys, talking about McCarthy. McCarthy gets fired. Dion gets the job. They draft his son because his son can't play without daddy. So that's possibly something that's coming. Sean, what's your thought on the rest of the season with Dable calling the plays? Because that is something that everybody wants to talk about. Is Shane and Dable on the hot seat? And does Dable remain calling the plays?
Well, twofold. I think no, he's not on the hot. They're not in the hot seat. I mean, fans are trying to put them on the hot seat, but no, they're not. Yes, he should still call plays. I mean, listen, Kurt Warner, who we had on our show, right, talked about it all game. Guys are open. They're just not being seen. So it's hard to blame the play calling when guys are open. And again, like Spartan said earlier, this is a great point. He's going to a read that he shouldn't be going to when other guys are open. So you can't blame Dayball for what the quarterback is choosing to throw. He's not making the right decision. So yes, I think good. He schemed to get guys. That was obvious again yesterday. So yeah, I want him to continue to call the plays and see what other guys can do. Now let's be realistic. If Locke or DeVito comes in, do we think they're going to be like a huge upgrade? No. So you're still going to have some of the same issues. However, at least you'll know they'll take some of the shots, right? So no, I got no problem with the play calling at all. And I was the one advocating for Dable to start calling plays. So no, I think his play calling's been good. Is he perfect? No, but what offense coordinator is, right? But yesterday, yeah, no, I'm good. And no, I don't think they're on the hot seat.
All right, well, let's give out some game balls. Let's get to studs and duds, because then we can just move right off this subject, because it's the same thing every week, right? People are getting tired of talking about the same thing. Let's give out game balls if we can find it. Let's do a little studs to duds.
Studs to duds. That's right.
All right, Spartan, starting with you. If you can find a game ball to give out to the offense, who is your stud of the day? Who gets the ball?
I think I'm going to give it, and I can really go back and forth. There's a couple players that could deserve this, and Joker, I'll probably take one. You get the other. Okay. I actually think Evan Neal had his best football game I've ever seen him play in 3 years. That really speaks to the work of Brasillo. Makes me wonder a little bit why they didn't put him out there earlier. But again, I mean, I trust the coach's judgment. But overall, to give up one pressure against the Panthers is pretty outstanding, because he used to be a revolving door. So whatever happened, whatever clicked in the offseason, absolutely phenomenal. And I'm very hopeful, because what if we can save Neal? What if he doesn't get chalked up as a bust? That gives me hope that we still have time. There's still a possibility he can work out.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So if that's your stud, who's your dud?
Daniel Jones. Next question.
Yeah, right. Pretty easy. Joker. Sean, if you got a game ball to give out, who's your stud of the game?
Yeah, great choice, by the way, with Neil there, Spartan. I think he's healthy for the first time in a long time, so I think that helped. But I'm going to give it to Tracy. Again, he's the reason why we were in that game, had a chance to win that game. And then I know you're going to ask Dud, but it's going to be the same answer as Spartan. I don't think there's any other choice at this point, and I don't want to give another choice, to be frank. So,
yeah, I'm on the fence a little bit. Like I was saying, like, I know it's just one play, but man, like everything you need, guys. I'm not giving him the dud, but that fumble in overtime is rough because it's not just Tracy. Like he got hit 2 yards in the backfield. Like what the heck? Why break down in overtime on the first play? I don't know if it's JMS. I don't know if it was whoever missed the block on the what's his name? Robinson, right? We let him walk, right? He blew in there and blew that play up. So I'm just giving out that dud to the offensive line on the first play of overtime where you should be like fired up, ready to pancake dudes and win in overtime.
Draft picks, Craig. Draft picks. That was the greatest fumble in Giants history.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, like, okay. I don't know. I mean, no, yeah, I don't. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Bill. I mean, but all the linebackers right now are struggling because when Dexter comes out of the game, or if they double down Dexter, like there's no one there that's good enough to keep them free. I mean, Okereke is having like half the year he had last year, right? We know McFadden's too aggressive sometimes, and he shoots by tackles, right? Simmons, I don't know. I just don't see it at all. I don't see anything that he brings to the table that makes a difference. I think he's a waste of space, and I really felt bad about that because I was super excited that they re-signed him. But
not to give you a hard time, but he was covering guys. He literally was covering guys.
He
covered guys all game. He covered guys all game. He literally all game.
Stop.
Covered them all game.
The guy's done nothing in the NFL since he got here. He's a first.
He doesn't let receivers catch. He doesn't let his receivers catch the ball. I mean,
okay.
That's pretty good in his limited time. But go ahead. I know you don't like him. It's all right.
Because when you're a first round draft,
he's doing well. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him play more to see what he does against the run. Because I tell you what,
he's Daniel Jones on the defense.
He's smart.
He's Daniel Jones of the defense. He's smart.
Oh, good Lord.
He shows up sometimes.
Oh my God.
He's the Daniel Jones of the defense.
He covers guys. He doesn't let guys beat him in pass coverage. Can you say it about somebody else that's an inside linebacker there? No, you cannot.
First of all, McFadden shouldn't.
Give him a shot. Give him a shot.
McFadden's
Give him a shot. Let him play more.
Yeah, don't see it. He is dumb. His new nickname is Daniel Jones. But yeah, my dud is what's that?
That's not even close. Come on, man. Grace is miserable tonight. It's all right. Just get off my lawn all night.
First of all, I think I have a good right to be miserable. Okay,
you do. You do.
And two. I'm sorry. Let's hold everybody accountable here. He's a first-round draft pick that gives nothing. He averages a tackle and a half a game, and I'm not going to use excuses that he's in pass coverage. He doesn't.
That's all they use him for. They use him to guard guys, and he doesn't give up receptions.
Then where's the interceptions? Where's the tackles? Where's anything? He's the Daniel Jones of the defense.
They don't throw to him. They don't throw to his way because the guys aren't open.
Oh, because he's so good in coverage? Is that it?
He's actually really good in coverage. Yes, he's really good in coverage.
God.
He's really good in coverage.
The Giants.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
Next,
I'm just saying. Let's make sure we hold everybody accountable, man. That's all.
I'm not saying he's a stud, but I'm saying he's playing well with what he's asked to do. He blocked the field goal. He had an interception last year, returned for a touchdown. I'm just saying he's done what they've asked him to do. He shut guys out from catching passes. That's what a limited role, and that's what they ask him to do.
He's terrible.
So
he cannot tackle. He misses tackles like crazy.
Oh my God.
Okay. Gentlemen, I hate to pardon the interruption, but let's move on here, shall we?
Yeah, I know it sucks to be right all the time, but hey, what can I do?
This is like I work at the Senior Citizen Center. I got to break up the sprawl with the guys fighting with the walkers and whatnot.
Okay. All right, Spartan. You
now
you
got the team up again.
Listen,
Now
don't
you guys
make
are
me jump through that. Don't make me jump through that screen. Don't make me jump through that screen, my
Yeah,
man.
I'll take my walker and
He thought too long without
walker and I'll beat you with it.
right. He went too long. He went too long without talking, so he had to say something.
All right, Zach. So my dud is the offensive. My dud is the offensive line. When we needed him the most, they came up small. Let's move on, guys. What everybody wants to talk about is when we draft a quarterback. If we draft a quarterback, I'm assuming we're going to draft a quarterback. Is you're going to need a bridge quarterback. And there ain't a guy on the planet that's going to convince me that a journeyman bridge quarterback is going to teach a new quarterback anything. The only thing a bridge quarterback or a journeyman bridge quarterback knows how to do is put his uniform on. You got to find somebody that knows how to win, that has some type of experience that can help this new kid grow, regardless of who the kid is, whether it's Ward, whether it's Milrow, whether it's Dart, whether it's Nussmeier. I don't care. As long as it's not Sanders. But we need a bridge quarterback. So let's talk about the 2025 free agent QBs. Let's roll. Number one, gentlemen. We can do this two ways. I want to let you tell me. Spartan, I can read the top 11 because there's actually top 11. Do you want me to read all 11 or you want to go one by one and I'll get your opinion on both? How do you want to handle it, Spartan?
Let's go one by one.
Wait a minute. Is there a $10 super sticker in there from Mark? Whoa, nice. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Tangible support. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Mark.
TJ is done, notwithstanding the injury settlement. I know, right? We're staring down that gun. Thank you, Mark. I didn't want that to go by without thanking you for that. All right, Spartan, you want them all? You want one at a time?
Let's do one at a time.
One at a time. The most successful one that we have. There are two extremely successful ones right now. We'll start off with one of them. No, not in any particular order. Is Sam Darnold. He's playing well with the Vikings. Has them, winning games. Start with you, Spartan. What's your thought about the Giants signing Sam Darnold? Yay or nay, and why?
I'll give that one a yay. I actually think this is purely based on how Darnold was doing with Minnesota earlier in the year. I mean, if you asked me a couple years ago, I would have said no. I think he's at the point now where he's kind of accepted the role that he's playing in, but of course he still wants to go out there and play. The benefit of having a guy like Darnold now versus when you had him with the Jets was that, he's 22 years old back then, and he's got a bunch of cameras in his face, high expectations, everything like that. All those distractions and butterflies kind of go out the door to some degree because the expectations will be exactly what he's doing now. I think he's experienced enough. He's adjusted the NFL speed. He can clearly go out there and win ball games. And by the way, that's what's going to be very important here as I look over this list. Who can we actually win some ball games with? I don't think any of these guys are going to get us to the Super Bowl, but we all have to remember something. We're on the fence right now about Dable and Shane. Just in general, you can definitely sense it's on the fence. They're probably going to stay. But if they lose again next year, then we're kind of in trouble. So we gotta win some ball games. So Darnold is a yes for me. I think he can command an NFL offense for the Giants.
You know what also too, Spartan? If you win some games, right? You know what happens? Free agents want to come here and play, right?
Amen.
If you don't win games, guys aren't willing to come. So Darnold is a unique opportunity. It's taken him a little while to mature and get up to the game speed of the NFL. Sean, what's your thoughts on Sam Darnold? And do you think that the JJ McCarthy thing is coming into play here?
So I'm going to say no. And for the reason is I don't New York media again. I think that's tough for him. I think that as the season goes along, some more of what he used to be will come out again. But I think he got in the right situation with Kevin O'Connell there in Minnesota. So I think that's a good fit. But I don't think he's what we need. And I don't think they'll get rid of him either. So I'm a nay on him.
All right. Well, the other big name on this list, because again, there are two most successful ones. Sam Darnold, that is split between Spartan and Sean. The second one, Sean, start with you, is Russell Wilson. We know that there had been, we don't know the truth, but evidently there was some talk in the offseason about Russell coming in and competing with Jones for the starting
Well,
job.
they met at the airport. Him and Shane met at the airport.
Yeah. And
That's-
he was in town, and the conversation was that he wouldn't start, right? That Jones was still their guy from what we know, right? From what we know. We've never heard Shane say anything or Dave's or Maris say anything about it. What's your take on Russell Wilson coming back and saying, yeah, forget about what you did to me last year? What's your thought about that?
Yeah, so I don't know if he'll leave Pittsburgh, but I would say yes to him. And I think because he fits what Daboll does want to do, he still can scramble. He can do the deep ball. He does the things that really Daboll likes, reads the defense, all of that. I think the thing that would work in our favor is his wife loves New York. There was talk before about him wanting to be in New York for those reasons. So yeah, I'm a yay on Russell Wilson.
Spartan?
Definitely, yeah. Just a couple considerations, though. I mean, first of all, we are looking at him in Pittsburgh. I mean, he's balling out in that situation, doing pretty well. I don't know if he'd leave Pittsburgh. I highly doubt it at this point. I think they'll stick with him at least for the time being, considering they're having some success with him. The other thing is too, and maybe we just skip this consideration in general because I mean, there's still gonna be a bandwidth, but he's probably gonna be the most expensive out of all the guys on the list. He's getting paid pebbles by the Steelers because he's still getting paid by the Broncos. So it's just a consideration there.
So you're saying no?
No, that's a yes for me.
Okay. Just check. I like him. I like him too. I don't know if he would come, but the thing about Wilson is, he's probably going to want to start for 2 years, right? He's going to want a 2-year deal. And, if you're drafting a guy, is Wilson going to be the guy that wants to sit on the bench and let the kid take over?
I don't think he's going to want that. Yeah.
But I will say, if anybody, anyone to learn from, it would be Russell Wilson, right? The amount of experience that he has, the winning that he's done, all points to like, man, that would be the guy, right? And I love your take, Spartan. We could win games again. We can win games again with Russell Wilson. And all of a sudden, everything changes when you're winning games. It's not only for the fans, but for the players and the team and the locker room. It would go a long way. So I am full in on Russell Wilson if it was doable. Number 3 on this list. Yeah, without a doubt, Jay. Number 3 on this list is interesting because when I went to Sports Track, I couldn't find out what his 2025 deal is, but it's Justin Fields. And Spartan, I don't know what your thought is on Fields. He's on his second team, hasn't had a lot of winning, though started off well 4-2 with the Steelers, right? Was having some success there. What's your thought on Fields?
That's a yes for me. I mean, he has the most upside, in my opinion, of any of these quarterbacks because he was just coming off that rookie deal. He was just playing well with Pittsburgh. I don't even want to say he was necessarily terrible with Chicago. Is it a similar situation where they're a complete disaster of a franchise? I would actually like to see that happen if they could pull it off. So that's a yes for me. I'd be pretty happy with that one.
Interesting. Okay. Go ahead, Sean. I did not think you would say that, but go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm going to say this either, but I would say yes. And I would say I think he can win some games with us. The scrambling ability and his speed running out of the pocket, it's become a huge weapon in the NFL now. I do think Daboll could coach him up to be a better passer than what he is. He throws a good deep ball. He's just inaccurate in medium throws, but I think Daboll could coach him up on that. So I'm surprised I'm saying this, but I'm going to go yes.
Interesting. And I appreciate both of your opinions. I mean, I'm a no from the perspective of like, I don't see how he grooms a young quarterback. I don't see what he brings to the table. The guy's won absolutely nothing. And the fact is that if you brought Fields in, then don't draft a quarterback. He's too young and he's too inexperienced. Like he's going to learn on the job. He's not going to bring anything to a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? Like they're going to go play Madden together. I mean, so to me, if you bring Fields in, he's your starter and you don't draft a QB and you trade out of the first round or you trade that pick down, right? Accumulate picks. If Fields is your guy, I just don't see Fields as your guy. If he was the starter or if he was the bridge, I don't see it, but appreciate both your opinions there. Number 4 would be the gunner of the group, and that would be Jameis Winston. A lot of guys like Jameis Winston. Seems like a fun guy to be around. Can definitely throw the ball, right? He is the biggest gunslinger on this list. Spartan, what's your thought on Winston? You know he's going to come with at least 35 interceptions, but the cat's not afraid to throw.
No, absolutely not. I think that's just it. I mean, I remember his numbers back when he was with Tampa, and it was always high touchdowns, high interceptions. So it was just always kind of like a bit of a mess of a mix. He to me, he would start a few games here, but that would pretty much be it. And they would immediately move on and get that rookie quarterback. And while he would be more willing to do that sort of work, to be a backup and mentor, probably, I still want to look at the Giants' best possibility of winning ball games for the sake of Shane and Dable's careers. I'd hate for them to have to clean house.
All right, so you're saying no on Winston?
I'm going to say no on Winston.
Go ahead, Sean. What's your Winston take?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say yes, but for this reason, think of like the Warner Eli Manning years when that happened. I think Winston can come in. He can start a few games until the rookie is. I'm saying you draft a rookie if you bring in Winston, and then he's a really good backup that can teach him a lot of things. I mean, he's a guy who's learned a lot. He's been with some really good coaches over the last couple of years. So for him to come in, start a few games until the rookie's ready, and then be a backup, which I think he'll accept that role, I say yes to that. Plus, his press conferences would be fun as shit.
Oh yeah, New York media would love him.
Yeah, look at Chris P says, yeah, he's worth 33 touchdowns, but 30 interceptions and 5,000 yards. He does throw the snot out of the ball.
Oh, I'll take 4,000 yards at this point from a quarterback. My God, we took that for granted with Eli.
I think that's a lot of what Winston is he's a defensive killer, right? Because of the interceptions, like you're putting so much pressure on the defense to constantly get the ball back, and they're on the field a lot. That's my big thing is like, I don't know if we're going to be ready to handle that. I mean, he burns defenses out, right? If you're throwing an average of 3 picks a game, defense is on the field a lot. But I do like him as a human. He's fun. You know what I mean? He's a fun guy. And he's got, like I said, he's got that cannon for an arm. I'm kind of on the fence with him. I wish I don't have a yes or a no. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't love it. So I'm kind of in the middle there. All right, number 5 on this list, Sean, is the ever young Joe Flacco, who just knows how to do it, right? I mean, there's just really no way around saying it. He just knows how to do it. So what's your thought on Flacco?
Yeah, it's going to be a no on Flacco. I mean, listen, if he was just a backup and was there to help the rookie who's going to start, that's a no on Flacco for me.
Wow, didn't even give me anything past just a no. That's tough. All right, Spartan, we
got a lot of other quarterbacks to get to and wide receivers to get to. So
yeah, true, not bad. That's true. Go ahead, Spartan. Flacco.
This one's a little bit challenging because if he was just coming off that year with Cleveland, then we probably, it's easier to say yes. Seeing what he's doing with the Colts at any time he's playing, it leans towards no. I'd actually be okay with it, just knowing that the level that he's played at in football, the fact that his winning day, like anytime he won or could at least carry a team with talent level depth, similar to the Giants, which I actually think the Browns kind of had comparatively to the Giants with Flacco 2 years ago, I actually wouldn't mind it. I would welcome it.
So you're on the yes side.
I'm on the yes side. I think we can actually win some games with him. It's a stretch, and I think the mentorship aspect would be enormous with him.
I do think Flacco with the mentorship, Spartan, I'm with you there. And I do think he can win you. If let's say he played 7 games, I think he can win 4 games, and I think he just would know where Neighbors was going to be, and he'd put it on him. And he would know where, you know what I mean? He just throws a better ball. He's won a Super Bowl. I mean, like, if anyone, the guy won a Super Bowl, he's going to be a great mentor for whoever's coming up. So I'm more on a yes on Flacco. Brissett, Spartan, any thoughts here?
No, from me. Too bad at everything. I don't know what wisdom he's going to shed.
Sean?
Yeah, that's a no.
Yeah, me
that's
too.
A no.
There's not enough there. Sean, Mac Jones.
You know, I mean, again, if we're looking at, he's not going to mentor anybody. So from that standpoint, I would say a no. However, if you think he could be the guy that, but as far as like, if we're talking about, hey, come in, win this game, or I mean, come in, be a mentor to a younger guy, then that's a no.
Spartans.
Can't mentor, can't win. That's a no from me.
Yeah, me too. Unless he has some kind of miraculous turnaround, I just don't see Mac Jones with the tools, to win you games. Because again, I think Spartan said it's right. Like, you just want to win some games. Like, you want to have a guy come in and no pressure for the rookie to start, because this guy's winning you games and this guy's learning how to win and lose as a pro. If you're going with one of the older guys, if you're going with one of the younger guys, then you're not drafting a QB, right? Like a guy like Fields, right? All right. So this one's pretty interesting. Sean, what about Andy Dalton?
Ooh. That's gonna be a no from me. I don't.
Okay.
Games he can mentor, but I don't think he can win you enough games. At this point in his career, let me say it that way. If we're talking a couple of years ago, Andy Dalton, yes, but I think at this point, I don't think he's at the. I don't think so.
Spartan?
I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I watched him play this year with Carolina, and it was just abysmal. It's like any hint of success he has is behind him, and mentorship aspect is key here. And although he would be pretty good at it, I don't. It's just not worth it. The winning, I keep going back to the wins as being critical. Like, what I don't want is a quarterback that's going out there and putting up Daniel Jones numbers, losing 4 games straight, and now, I mean, Shane Dable would really be on the hot seat with a rookie quarterback at the helm. That would not be ideal. So Dalton is not that kind of guy.
I also don't think he's done crap for Bryce Young. I mean, like, what has he done for Bryce Young? Bryce Young is like if he didn't win yesterday, you know what I mean, they'd be calling for Bryce Young all over again. Throwing him out, as quickly as they could. So I don't think Dalton, where I think Flacco has a lot to offer from experience standpoint, I don't think Dalton's a guy either. I'm with you guys. Mason Rudolph, Spartan. What's your thought on Mason Rudolph?
That's a no for me. Not good enough. I don't really understand what he would do from the mentorship aspect.
Sean?
Yeah, it's definitely a no for me. Same thing. Not much of a mentor and doesn't bring much to.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am okay. Carson Wentz, Spartan.
Haven't I've heard that name in a very long time. Haven't thought about that human being in a very long time. We know what it was like back before he got that ACL tear. Everything in his career and his play has been downhill ever since. No for me.
Go ahead, Sean.
Listen, it's gonna be a wild take, but I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna say yes because he's now over with Andy Reid, and I think that can make a huge difference. The same way Baker Mayfield getting with Sean McVay can do a thing. He fits. Again, I think he's still mobile from last I heard or saw. And he's got a pretty strong arm. Again, I know the wins thing, but it's a wild take, and I realize it's a wild take, but I'm going to say yes on Wentz.
You know what's funny, John? I'm right with you. There's something about Wentz that says he's won games before he tears his ACL. He's literally the leading candidate for league MVP, right? And then he has like 3 years in a row where he gets hurt. He's over with Andy Reid, learning a whole lot. I actually think he can still run. He's probably still pretty mobile, right? Like, we're not asking this guy to win games for 2 years. We're asking this guy to win some games and mentor a young guy. I'm actually with you, Sean. Wentz could actually be like this dark horse that everybody's kind of forgotten, kind of just like Kerry Collins was, right? Everybody kind of forgot Kerry Collins, and then he came in and he balled out. So I'm with you on Wentz. The last one is the most intriguing because I think everybody loves this guy. He hasn't had a lot of winning under his belt, but he's a smart cat. And Sean, that's Marcus Mariota. There's been a couple guys on Twitter talking about him today on what a perfect guy to mentor another guy, because that's just the kind of person he is.
Yeah, I'm mentoring aspect, I think he's clearly doing a good job with Jaden Daniels over there. Well, he scrambling quarterback, knows, seen some different things. So again, we're talking bridge quarterback who can can win some games. I mean, he came in when Daniels went down, and that offense didn't miss a beat at all, and he did really well. So I like it. I like it from a mentoring standpoint. I like it from an athletic standpoint. I think he fits right into Dable's offense.
Yeah, me too. What about you, Spartan?
I'm not a fan of Mariota. I think the game is just too weak overall of what he can produce. I will tell you what, though, I'll actually switch my answer on Wentz. I kind of looked back and saw like when he played, and although he didn't really play very well with the Commanders, he actually had a respectable season with Indianapolis, and I forgot about that. Again,
Sean
is
shaking his head. You're not allowed to change your response.
Yeah, you can't change your answer, man.
Yes, we can. That's what we do.
No, this isn't grade school. You can't change your answer.
The strongest.
Get the hell out of here. I want to change my answer. Hold on. I heard you other two talk. I want to change my answer now. I'm just
the strongest men are those who are able to adapt.
Hey, Sean, as you and I were walking, as we were stumbling down the halls with our walkers, we were talking and we were doing one of these things, and he's like, "And them old fools got some pretty good idea."
Yeah, we got a little wisdom left in these old brains of ours.
This is the thanks I get for saying, you know what, guys, that was a good point.
We convinced them. Yeah. We convinced him to change his mind. All right.
So I will say, looking back over the list, there was all yeses all the way around for Russell Wilson. You two both said yes. I said no on Fields. Wait.
There's one more. I think there's one more I want to go over real quick.
Oh, that's all I had. That was a free agent. Who did you have?
Is Jimmy Garoppolo not a free agent?
That's a great question. He was not on my list, but I'll look it up right now.
I thought he was, and if case my answer is
okay.
Yes.
So Zach, do me a favor. Zach, go to Sports Track, TRAC, sportstrack.com. Look up Jimmy Garoppolo and see if he's under contract for 2026, and then throw that in the chat for me. I'll have Zach look that up, Sport.
Yeah.
It's a great pick. He wasn't on the list that I had. That doesn't mean it's 1,000% accurate, right? Maybe they were just looking at the top 10 and maybe he's number 11, right? So Zach's going to get me that information in a minute. But guys, the only guys that we all agreed on were, now that Spartan changed his mind, is Carson Wentz. Let me circle that. Carson Wentz and Russell Wilson. So out of the 11 that we looked at, you guys agreed on 3. I agreed on 2. I didn't agree on just on Fields, because if you bring Fields in, he has to be the starter. You're not going to draft a QB. He's not going to mentor a guy 3 years younger than him. So just so everybody knows, Russell Wilson and Carson Wentz, we all agreed on. Oh, wait, hang on. My man Zach is coming through. He is a UDFA after this season. Okay, there you go. So number 12 would be with Jimmy Garoppolo. And is there any thought here, Spartan? Like, is that something that you think has juice?
I think so. Now, his numbers really did decline after that first Super Bowl, but we're kind of talking similar caliber to a lot of these other players. Might be able to go out there and still win. And on top of that, I think he'd do a mentorship job and be willing to do it.
Okay, fair enough. How about you, Sean? Any thoughts on Garoppolo?
So that would be a no, but what I will say is I believe he's the backup in Los Angeles, so he gets a year with McVay. But no, it's a no for me on Jimmy G. He's got no mobility at all, like zero.
Yeah, I'm going to go also with the no on Garoppolo because he hasn't actually played in 2 years. Yeah, it's funny, Cold. I don't even know if Tannehill wants to play anymore. I mean, like, that's the same thing about Garoppolo. He hasn't really played in 2 years. He's been hurt. Tannehill's just sitting around picking his nose. So, like, I was under the impression mid-season Tannehill would have a job somewhere. But with no job, I don't know. You guys tell me, like technically Tannehill could win games and mentor, but he hasn't played in a year. I mean,
I'll never understand why they didn't make a stab for him this past year. I'll never understand.
All about money. He wanted some crazy money and he didn't get it. Now, will he get a job probably next year? Probably, because he's gonna come down to earth. But I don't want anybody that hasn't played in a year.
Like
I was hot on him earlier.
He was on. I mean, he's on a like he wasn't making any money. Like how much money? He's like, no,
No,
if
they
you
still
don't pay me $30 million, I'm going to take zero. Is that how he?
Well, I mean, he was still getting paid by Tennessee. I think he's still.
Problem?
But I have to look that up.
Okay.
Zach, look up for me Ryan Tannehill and let me know what his numbers look like. All right, gentlemen.
Wait, Craig, can I just say something real quick?
Of course.
I just want everybody to know something here as we're going through this. We're not talking about the ultimate like franchise quarterback for the Giants. In case you missed the earlier part of the show, we were talking about what veteran that we would couple with the rookie to start for the first few games and then transition over to the rookie when the time is appropriate. Just a reminder.
Big Blue Elo wants to know about Tibbs, by the way. They said Tibbs was 4 weeks. So, that could be more like 6 weeks, but like right now, like he's not done for the year. So just like scanning through here to see you guys, some of the comments. I don't want to ignore them all. So Tibbs is supposed to come back in 4 to 6. That could be the end of the year, or it could be the last couple games. I'm sure we'll see him again. It's not bizarre, Craig, when the Giants ever get off to a good start. I'm just looking through here to see if there's anything I missed in here. Yeah, Chris is right. We are definitely talking about just a bridge quarterback on who could come in and win games and show a guy like Ward or a guy like Nussmeier or a guy like Milroe on how to be a pro. No hate. I don't hate Sanders. I like Sanders. I don't like Sanders' dad because the guy hasn't been able to do anything without his dad. And I don't feel like the drama. It's not hate. It's got nothing to do with the player. I just know that the dad comes along with the quarterback. And if you don't think that's true, you guys aren't watching what happens. I'm just being honest here. I like the player, but you're no way getting the quarterback by himself. You're getting all the baggage that comes along with it.
I'll agree to disagree because and Sean has way more analysis. I will say I am not. I've not done any homework on these quarterbacks yet. We'll get to that once the season kind of nears the end in December. But I am at the point now where the Giants have been losing so much. I'd really rather them just get the best quarterback, and I'm going to ignore media or headache issues to a more degree. Obviously, if somebody goes out there and commits a nasty felony, that's not acceptable. But like I will accept. I have more tolerance for a headache now because I have a headache from losing so often. But I do get your point though, Craig. I get it.
Pound it out for Tuto coming up big. Appreciate you, my friend. Always glad to have the OG back in the house. Guys, let's also talking about. He says I'm a hater. Yes, I don't like Deion Sanders. Why not Jones be the bridge? No.
Whoa! Who said that? Who said that?
He's off his meds.
The $40 million bridge. If I watch one more like a football game with Jones starting the year 2025, I will become the Joker. I will not replace our Joker. I will probably turn into the Joker and paint my face and commit heinous crimes.
All right, so let's talk about
Craig's identity, of course, because I can't go to prison.
Thanks. Appreciate that. All right, so let's talk about wide receivers because there are some good wide receivers here on this list that I put a tweet out earlier. If you guys haven't seen it, there's a poll out there. I'd love you guys to participate. Is when we spend free agent money, we all know, guys, that there's a lump sum of money and it goes to the highest, best talent guys we could find, right? So my question is when we spend free agent money, do you want it to be on the D tackle, the corner, or do you want it to be on a wide receiver, right? Like, because we really could use a different type of wide receiver too. So the poll right now is leading on corner CB2 CB1/CB2 from the poll perspective. So I'm going to read you guys off a list. Now I'm not going to go one by one. I'm going to let you guys pick the ones you want. All right. In the notes that I sent you are the names. But we can put them up here on the screen. If Zach, you can type these out fast enough, let me know. All right, so our free agent wide receivers are Higgins, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Stephon Diggs, Hopkins, Deontay Johnson, Hollywood Brown, Keenan Allen, Elijah Moore, and Mike Williams. Those are your top 10. There's other ones too, but those are your top 10. It's in the notes, Zach, if you want to grab it from the invite, and you can chuck it up there if you want to just cut and paste. Once again, Higgins, Cooper, Godwin, Diggs, Hopkins, Johnson, Brown, Allen, Moore, Williams. Sean, give me your top 3 wide receivers that you think fit the Giants. And I know it probably has to do with who the quarterback is, but let's just, for now, let's go with who brings something to the Giants that we don't currently have. There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Zach.
All right. I'm gonna give 4 just because it'll be quick. So Higgins, I just worry about his injury concern, but that guy's a difference maker, and him and Neighbors together would be awesome. Then you look at Godwin, unreal in this all. And then I'm going to give 2 vets, Cooper and Diggs. Diggs played with Dayball before, so I think that'd be a good fit there. And Cooper is just a wily veteran, so he can help that young receiving core that we have.
Nice. Okay, Spartan, pick your 4 since Sean put. Pop those back up there, Zach. Since Sean went with the 4, go with your 4.
It's funny you say that because can I go with like 2 specific guys that I think just make the most sense to target?
Of course.
And of course, with Higgins, the concern is going to be injury, but he is the natural wide receiver too. He does a very good job of it. This is not a position where I think the Giants should go out there and drop the ball on with money. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the guy that's going to be efficient. Now, don't get me wrong, a good wide receiver too can still cost a decent penny, but if you bench your quarterback that's due $23 million, if they get injured, you can allot that money to the wide receiver position, right? So Higgins probably makes the most sense. There is an injury concern, but Diggs is a very unique situation because exactly what you were talking about, Sean. He was partnered up with Dable before. They've worked together. They would probably work together again, and I think him and Neighbors would be very complementary, if not very explosive together. So I'd like to see it.
Just 2.
Yeah, 2. And again, I can go back and forth with all these other guys, but, some of the bigger names, like Hopkins, probably won't happen. It's a little tough. I'd have to actually see, like, how much money they'd be expected to get. And Elijah Moore is the only guy where I'm kind of like, he's not that good.
And I think Godwin won't cost as much now because of the injury. That may bring he just had that serious injury. That may bring his cost down, but he's fast as shit. Like,
I'm about it.
Cow.
Yep. I'd like to see a big body in here. Like, I haven't done any specs on these guys for body style, like who's tall, who's not, right? But we don't really use Hodgins much anymore, right? So I'd like to see like a big body possession receiver somewhere in the middle of the field, right? So, I'm assuming that like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams are more on the taller side, right? I know they're a little bit on the older side. Like, as much as Diggs works with Dable before, I don't know if we need another smaller, fast receiver, right? Like, I just like to see a big possession body, right? I don't know if any of these guys fall in that. I mean, I don't think Hopkins is going to leave now that he's been traded. He's going to find himself a home there, so he's probably not going to be available. But some of these other guys like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are intriguing me just because I'd like a big body, to give – that middle of the field, that mid-range, that 12 to 18 yard, sitting in the center and hitting a big body. I would love that. What do you laugh at that, Spartan?
Higgins meets that too. He's a big body.
Yes. Higgins, like I said, Higgins would be the number 1. I don't know. I don't see them letting him go, but Higgins would definitely be my number 1. And then, like I said, all right, so here I'm going to read you guys a quick list here before we wrap some stuff up. Here are some other notable free agent players I want you guys to consider. There are a bunch of corners in here, and there's a couple of edges and stuff. So ready? Other notable players that are free agents: guard Trey Smith from the Chiefs, offensive tackle Ron Staley from the Ravens, cornerback DJ Reed from the Jets, and quarterback Javarius Ward from San Fran. Defensive tackle, Aleem McNeil from the Lions. Guard, Zach Martin from the Cowboys. Rasul Douglas, cornerback from the Bills. Offensive tackle, of course, you guys know Tyrone Smith. And then there are 3 edge players in a row, which are Hassan Reddick from the Jets, which seemed to be turned out to be a big headache between them and the Eagles, right? A big mess there. Edge DeMarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys, who has been a Giants wrecker for years. And then edge Khalil Mack from the Chargers. Any of those guys jump out at you that you feel, hey, we got free agency money, the cap's going up? Anybody on this list, maybe someone that you really, really want the Giants to pursue, Spartan?
I don't my approach mentally this whole time for anybody that deserves the big money contract in the offseason would probably be a cornerback. I know, you named DJ Reed. I don't know if you brought up Ward or Carlton Davis with the Lions, but those are the top 3 guys right now. I wouldn't really be opposed. None of them are that splashy of names, but I think that's what they got to target in the offseason. So of that list, I'm going to go with Reed. But he's cornerback 2. Wouldn't he be cornerback 2 with the Jets though? Because Sauce is the cornerback 1.
Yeah,
and that's my one concern because we need a cornerback 1.
Okay, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go cornerback. They got to go cornerback. I'm less worried about. I don't know. Unless if Reed is cornerback 2, I mean, most people are gonna be cornerback 2 to Sauce Gardner. So it doesn't mean he couldn't be a cornerback 1 here. I'm not saying he could. And then a weird one, depending on what they do with quarterback and everything else, just to add some veteran leadership and teaching ability, Khalil Mack. Like if we can get some good things there, I don't know what he would cost. So obviously it's got to be within, it's got to be a smart cost for him. But what he could teach, Tibbs and that, and add him there. I know it's crazy. I know it's wild, but you can never have too many pass rushers.
Yeah, I would think that Khalil Mack would be on their radar if Oziz doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Right?
No Reddick. I can tell you that much. No Hassan Reddick.
No.
Yeah,
no. That kind of all blew up, right? So we agree that maybe Daves and Shane aren't quite on the hot seat. We do agree that a bridge quarterback is definitely going to be necessary. We've talked in the past a little bit about trading for a guy. We know that that's going to cost a lot. And some people don't think that that's possible. I mean, anything's possible if you're willing to do it, right? I'm going to give you guys, and we're going to wrap this up so we can keep on track on time. I'm going to give you the rant and rave, right? So, Sean, I'm going to start with you. Give me your rant. Give me your rave on the Giants moving forward. We don't even need to recap what happened against the Panthers. Give me your rant and rave for the rest of the season.
Yeah, rant. Listen. I want to see better play out of the quarterback position. Just make plays, take chances, do what you need to do. That's just all I want to see. Guys are open. I'm tired of guys being open and we can't hit them. Like, just hit them. Just be better. Just absolutely be better. You're 2-8. Like, make some plays. Yeah, make some plays. Enough is enough. And then my rave is going to be young guys like Tyrone Tracy and Theo Johnson and Phillips and, the 5 rookies that are out there. I want to see them continue to grow, get better, and keep being, difference makers on this team because I believe they have that ability. They're at the point Parcells used to say, there comes after so many games, you're not a rookie anymore. So I think we're at that point now where they're not rookies, right? They've played enough games. They're used to it. So I'm going to rave about those guys. Tyrone Tracy, man, just ball out, man. Ball out.
Spartan, rant. Give me a rant. Give me a rave.
Well, I mean, rant, it's disappointing to see, obviously the quarterback play with the Giants, but on the defensive side of the ball, we're giving up a lot of yards. If they could just work on cleaning that up, that would be ideal. But some raves. I'm just going to say this for moving forward because it's not really, there's nothing I can really rave about in the current state. But what I could say is if the Giants just continue to play down the stretch and the players are playing meaningful football, they're going out there and playing with passion, and they're going out there and they're still going to work, and they keep these games to 1-score games, which for really much of the season they've been able to do outside of 2 games there, then at least we know that we are that team that is a quarterback away from at least being, consistently playoff caliber. And that's what the next step has to be. So the Giants have to continue to play like that. Offensive line, continue to play how they've been playing. And everybody that can step it up, that's been on the fence as of late, like Evan Neal, Hyatt, everybody along those lines, step it up and earn your right to be back here next year, because we want you to be back here next year. We want you to ball out and succeed. And if you are going to succeed, we want it to be with the Giants. So that's the number one. That's the number one initiative right there. Keep playing meaningful football. Don't look like the 2017 Giants were at the end of the season. It's just, 24-6 final score, 31-10. And then defense, I will say this. One thing they've been doing stellar at, they haven't given up more than 30 points yet. We are 16th out of 32 teams in opponents scoring allowed. And they're doing all this while having abysmal time disadvantage with how often they have the time of possession. So keep that aspect up.
All right. Like it. I'm going to run real quick through some really cool notes that are in the comments. Cole's got a really good opinion here. The Bengals aren't going to pay Higgins because Chase is due to get paid, so might be an opportunity for Higgins. I was asking about tall wide receivers. Chris is throwing in that Keenan Allen is 6'2", so that's definitely a little bit on the taller side, right? I'd even like a guy even taller than that. There was another one in here. DK Metcalf. That was Zach. I mean, I don't think Seattle's going to let him go. And of course, Diggs is coming off the ACL, so he might be affordable. We don't know, right? And then of course, Mark was talking about. I lost it here. Draft the wide receiver. We can draft the wide receiver too, no doubt, right? There's no doubt about it. And, if you're going to spend all your money on a bridge quarterback and maybe a defensive tackle, but I just read off the list of other notable players, and in the top 15 notable players, they were all guards, offensive tackles, cornerbacks, and edges. The only notable guy was Aleem McNeil from the Lions, defensive tackle. That could be like the guy they put on their hot and heavy list. But why would you want to leave Detroit right now, right? They're going to be in a winning situation for the next 3 or 4 years. So we might have to draft a guy, but I'd like to bring in just a veteran receiver that had some height to him. Rant and rave. I'll end the show with my rant is when you're 2-8 and your back's against the wall, throw the sink at it. You know what I mean? Like we started off pounding the rock, which was fine, but I mean Theo Johnson's been coming around, right? Like he's starting to show you a little bit of the potential. Give him more targets, right? I want Dable to force Jones to make more plays, right? Just keep forcing him to make more plays. The 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was 3 weeks ago, like the screens were working. For 2 weeks in a row, we ran a slant. The first play of the game was worth 12 to 15 yards. We threw it out. We haven't done it since. I know it's situational, and I know it's a matchup thing, right? But again, when you're 2-8, just see if you can win. Like I know you go into every game with a game plan, a matchup, what you think doesn't work, and what percentage it doesn't work at, right? We all about talking about ratios, right? 62% of the time it doesn't work. Well, then we need to work on the other 38%. So, like, give it to me where you're forcing the defense to make plays. You know what I'm saying? Force them to make plays. Get more to ball to Johnson. Run more screens. Get back the quick slant in there, and just have some fun. Throw the sink at it, right? Because anything that's conservative on any level, which I thought the first quarter and a half, 2 quarters was way too conservative. That's my rant. The rave is the fact that there didn't seem like the second half of that game. I didn't think anybody laid down, right? I think that they did want to win. I think there was a little bit of a little bit in there. 2 weeks ago, we saw Jones run over a guy in the end zone. We've seen Neighbors sticking up for Tracy, letting him feel good right after his fumble. So my rave is that, like, believe it or not, even with bad quarterback play, the team still seems to be sticking together. They're not quitting on Dable. They're not quitting on Shane, and they're definitely not quitting on each other. I mean, I thought Burns had one of his best games of the year. a little bit of Mark, we threw the ball to Hyatt a little bit, right? So, I don't think the team is quitting. I just think the team is tapped out talent-wise. That's why, if you saw earlier in the week, I tweeted out the Giants have lost 5 games by 8 points or less. That's saying basically like we're tapped out talent-wise. We can't go anymore, right? We can't win when we need to, but we're not getting blown out. Spartan, how many games did we get blown out last year? I mean, at least
it was a mess of
games.
them. And actually, we had more even in the year we went 9-7. We had more blowouts.
Yes. And Spartan, like it just the team feels like again, they may not be a quarterback away, but a quarterback, that's at least
a good quarterback away from consistently being a playoff caliber team, not a championship level team.
Yes.
We'll still need a couple more of those pieces.
And I heard people complain about the depth. No team has depth anymore. It's just they don't. No one has depth anymore.
Well, that's easy to fix too. All right, they got a depth issue. Fine, go out there and spend $1 million on a bunch of backups. That's fine.
Yeah,
but think of this too, like now because we lost some players and we're still playing in competitive games with chances to win. Where last year we had guys go down and shit was lost, right? Like Thomas went down last year, season was lost. We're not there at that. Not there when it comes to depth.
In fact, Daniel Jones is going to be sacked 34 times less than he was last year. That's freaking enormous, right? And again, I know they're just small wins because we're 2-8, right? They're small wins, but it is to say, like, it takes too long to build this team. It probably should have been built quicker than it is, right? Because we're going on the, into the 4th year, or we're halfway through the 3rd year. We think maybe it should be built a little faster. We do feel guys should play above the X's and O's, right? We have too many guys just do their job, right? We need guys that be able to play above the X's and O's. So, a new quarterback, bridge quarterback, or a young cat like Wilson, or actually Wilson's the only guy on here. I guess you would consider Darnold young too. Fields and Darnold on the younger side, Wilson and Wentz and Mariota. Those are kind of your guys you're playing with. If you're drafting, we all like Ward. Some of us like Sanders. I think some of us out here like Nussmeier, but he did not have a good weekend, right? He did not have a good weekend. Dart had a great weekend, beating Georgia, made Beck look real bad, by the way. And I don't know about you Georgia folks, but Beck looked really bad this weekend. So
look bad all season.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of time left to watch these guys play. We'll see him at the combine. We'll see him at their pro days. We know that Ward and Sanders are your top 2. And then, like I said, then you got to look at what Nussmeier, if he bounces back. Milroe, to me, they don't let the cat throw enough. They just don't. He's like they just keep, I know he's super dynamic, but in the NFL, you got to be able to throw yourself out of a win, into a win. You got to be able to throw yourself into a win. And I just don't know if he's that guy, but it's still time to watch him play.
He's that guy you sit behind a veteran and develop him. That's what he is, in my opinion.
Milroe just strikes me funny. Like I said, he's so athletic. Like I said, when the game's on the line, you're down 2 touchdowns. He's not the guy you want to throw you into a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He
can throw. He's just inconsistent right now. That he's gotten better each year the last 2 years. He's just got to continue on that. But his speed's unreal. Like he ran past that entire LSU defense, who they're not short of speed. So imagine, again, you see Jaden Daniels do it. You see Justin Fields have been able to do it. Like that's an added weapon to bring to the NFL. Like right now is
if
running.
You're a thrower to start with, because like Fields is a big thing. Daniels can throw you into a win, hands down, right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen can throw you into a win. I just, I don't know if Fields or Milroe are quarterbacks to throw you into a win. Ward can throw you into a win. You could just tell the way he plays. You're down 2 touchdowns, regardless of what happened this weekend, right? I mean, the guy had a strip sack, fumble, like it happens, right? But the guy can throw you into a win.
Yep.
So Sanders can throw you into a win. Anyway, we're going to see you guys. We got the review show on Wednesday at, I think, 8 o'clock. You'll see Christian Truth there if you guys want to stop in. Great show. So glad you guys got, hung out with us. Again, if you guys know anybody that has not subscribed to the YouTube channel, we just hit a 70,000 view mark. So we really thank you, for doing that. Just tell your folks to subscribe. It always helps us out. Check out nygiantsrush.com if you want any of that cool new swag we got with the Lady Liberty with the eye black. I know Chris Peace was rocking one a couple weeks ago when he was down at his fishing competition. So thank you, Chris. And we're going to be giving away cameras again. Me and my man Zach walk around the parking lot at MetLife Stadium. We give out cameras just like we at like the movie Hangover. And you mail the cameras back. We take your pictures and we're going to create videos. So we're waiting on some cameras to come back from 2 weeks ago. And we're going to have some really cool videos on the way. We'll see you guys next Monday. Peace out.
Peace out.